Hey, glad to have you back. Welcome to our channel and welcome back to Speaking Saturdays. So here we have a brand new set of questions. Let's get started. Part 1. Is social media a good thing? I think it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it depends on how you use it. It doesn't necessarily have to be good or bad. It's a tool. So I'd say it's neutral, right? It's amoral. What you do with the tool, I mean, you can use a knife to chop vegetables and cook a nice meal for yourself. You can also use a knife to kill someone. Is the knife a bad thing? Or is it a good thing? Depends on, because it's a tool. The tool itself isn't good or bad. I mean, through social media, I have learned so much. I have made connections I would not have made otherwise. As a child, as a teenager, I didn't have people around me in school, for example, that shared the same interests and hobbies. I went online, I made so many friends from all over the world, and we shared the same interests. So it was great. It helps people feel connected. And of course, it also helps you, for example, get the latest news, right? I mean, Twitter, for example, been so many times where it's been more reliable to, go to Facebook or Twitter or even YouTube or even Instagram, whatever. There's so many apps nowadays, compared to like watching the news, because the news, like on TV, etc., can be kind of slow. Or but if you go onto Twitter or you go log on to Facebook, you can immediately figure out what's happening in this country, in my area, etc. So I personally think it's a good thing, but I would also say it's a tool and it depends on how you use it. Do you use social media? Of course I do. It's part of I mean, I've been using social media since I was, I think, 12 years old. And one of my first memories with, well, the internet, but also social media in general, is there was this dress up website called stardoll.com, and I spent all of our internet bandwidth on that website, and then we had this huge bill that came in. But it was so much fun because it wasn't just dress up games for girls. They had a whole community. You had like shout boxes, you could leave comments, you could make friends online. So yeah, one of my first friends was this Dutch girl, and I was like so surprised back because I was like 12 years old. Now, like, wow, this internet thing is so cool. You can talk to people from all over the world. So yeah, and of course now it's also part of my work. I have to. I mean, I think the internet has become more social, right? It's like almost every website is social media if you think about it. Even YouTube, you leave comments, you have your own channels. So yeah, it's not just that I use it for personal stuff, but also for my work. It's indispensable. I work online, so I need to use social media. Do you meet strangers on social media? Well, of course. I mean, what kind of a question is that? Of course, you meet strangers on social media. I mean, that's just the nature of things. The whole point of social media is to not just keep you connected with people whom you already know, but also to help you find new connections, foster, relationships, things like that. So, yeah, of course I meet strangers. Everybody meets strangers online. I mean, you couldn't possibly have any kind of social media account and never encounter strangers, right? Because everybody's a stranger unless, until they become a friend. So yeah, do you follow celebrities on social media? I mean, I follow like my favorite musicians and stuff like that, but I don't know if you mean like celebrities in the traditional sense. Not really. I don't care. I mean, I'm not very invested in pop culture and things like that. I don't care too much. I think it's a little bit of a waste of time because what do I care what some famous person is doing online? But I would like to be updated when my favorite bands, for example, launch new music, right? So that's like important to me, of course. So I mean, yeah, I guess you could consider musicians celebrities, but that's the only kind of, so-called celebrity that I follow. Okay, going on to part 2. Describe a photograph that you like. You should say what can be seen in the photo, when was it taken, who took it, and explain why you like it. Ooh, okay. I think I've done a similar question on this channel before, but that question was a little bit different. I'll explain how. So that other question was about something like describe a photograph you like that you took. And then I was describing this picture that I took of one of our local dogs. So this is a little bit different because it just says describe a photograph you like. It doesn't necessarily have to be one that you took. It could be anyone. So yeah, this is gonna sound a bit weird at first, but a few years ago, well, actually 1.5 years ago, I started my braces journey, right? And it's weird because normally people get them when they're teenagers, but for some reason I was so afraid of dentists that I never got around to doing that. And now I finally did, like in December 2022, and now I'm at the end of my journey. So anyway, of course, at the very beginning, what they do is, well, what my doctor did anyway, is he took a picture of me from all angles, and then my mom also took pictures, because of course the pictures the dentist takes, well, they're like going into his file. So my mom takes all these pictures of my teeth really up close, and I'm like, whatever. I wasn't like, well, whatever. She enjoys taking pictures of everything, honestly. So yeah, I and then a couple months later, I came across those pictures of my teeth, and I was shocked because I never thought that they were so bad. You could really see that, like the front two teeth, I don't know what they're called, all this dental jargon. But they're like in this V-shaped type of thing. And in fact, I thought that that was the only problem. But now, when I looked at those pictures a few months ago, I realized that the problems were actually a lot worse because the other teeth as well, they were kind of like, I don't know, slightly slanted, and I never realized it, but wow, this treatment has done wonders. I had this one tooth in my lower jaw that was set a little bit kind of further back, and like now when I look at it, it feels like how, wow, how on earth is it possible that these are the same teeth that I had just a year and a half ago? It's crazy to think about, like when I think about these little wires, and science has come so far that you can do all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I never realized it, that December evening, would have such a great impact on my teeth. So now, I really enjoy like looking at x-rays and stuff as well. Like I keep looking at the picture that I have of my teeth and thinking, wow, like the dentist really changed everything, not just the ones that the teeth that I was concerned about, obviously, but like it just looks so different now. And I never thought that I could actually, I don't know, like until you actually go through it, it feels impossible. Like how, like teeth are so strong, how do you move them, so I'm like always like that picture is actually like bookmarked in my Google Photos account, because I love coming back and looking at it and thinking, wow, it just took like a year and a half and my teeth are not great. Like it's amazing. I love looking at it. Okay, then we go on to section 3. Do you think people are taking too many photos these days? I guess so. Yeah, of course, because it doesn't cost anything to take a photograph. Back in, let's say, 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, honestly, 15 years ago was when digital cameras were just starting to come out and be somewhat affordable. But like 20, 25, etc. years ago, it cost a lot of money to take photos. So people were very, very careful, and taking pictures was something you only did at special occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, etc. But now you go outside, you take like 100, 200 pictures. You saw a cute dog, cat, you saw a nice tree, you saw a speeding vehicle, and you take a picture of their number plate. So yeah, naturally we do, because it doesn't cost anything to take a picture nowadays. And of course we see that. I mean, there's literally like Instagram was created to share photos just because of how many pictures people were taking. So yeah, of course they are. It's like a no-brainer. What kind of photos do people like to take? How would I know? I mean, everyone's different. I mean, I, for example, love taking pictures of dogs and cats and trees and flowers and anything that I like, clouds and the sky, and it depends, anything that looks aesthetic, I'd say. But people love taking pictures of their food as well. Now that's something I've never understood. I mean, why would you take a picture of your food unless you created something amazing? Because I love baking, and anytime I do that, I take a picture. I take a couple nice aesthetic pictures. But people will go to a restaurant and be like, let me take a photo of this dish, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand it. But yeah, people love doing that. And we see that, I mean, nowadays all the content online is just video content. You don't see a lot of picture content these days. But I guess it's still the same. People love taking pictures of themselves too, right? That's kind of why we even have front cameras on our phones and devices. People love taking pictures of themselves and their friends, right? Even that is something that's very popular. So that's pretty much it, I'd say. I mean, everybody's different. Some people will take a picture of the most inane stuff you can imagine, but well, again, that's the that's just how things are. You cannot say in general that people love doing X, because there's as many people that don't do that, right? There's as many people that don't take a picture of their food as there are of people that do take a picture of their food. Do you think people take more photos now than in the past? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I said. No, I mean, it takes zero effort, right? If you don't like a picture you took, that's okay. You can delete that and take a new one. But like 25 years ago, if you took a picture and it didn't turn out well, you wouldn't even know that it's a bad picture until you got your film roll developed. And that cost money. First of all, buying the film roll, that cost money. And then having your pictures, from those negatives, black and white, not black and white, the negative film strips that you have, I don't know if Gen Z would recognize any of that, but we'd have to send the film roll to a photo studio, and that would cost money again. So yeah, I mean, people have really, it's amazing that we have all this technology now. You can take 100 pictures, and then out of all those 100 pictures, you select maybe one or two that are the best, and then you post them to your social media, right? So naturally, I mean, it's kind of also why sales of hard drives and everything, memory cards, they've been increasing, haven't they? Because people just take so many pictures from memories, right? And it's so good, right? Because let's say, for example, like when I was still in college and camera phones were kind of a new thing, or well, I mean, they were starting to become more popular, let's put it that way. uh, so we would all just take pictures of classroom notes and blackboards, whiteboards, etc. Nobody bothered writing stuff down because of course it's so convenient. So naturally, if something is convenient, people will do that. Like, it's like saying, like, do people wash their clothes using a washing machine, or do they wash them by hand? Of course they use a washing machine because it's so convenient. It saves you a lot of time, money, effort, energy. So yeah. Do you think equipment is important for photography? Well, it depends, I guess. Listen, I don't know much about photography, okay? I wouldn't say I'm the kind of person that takes great pictures. I like the pictures I taken, but yeah, it's not like professional quality or anything. But this depends. I mean, if you're pursuing photography as a profession, well, of course you need equipment, right? You can't be a photographer with like a cell phone camera. That doesn't make sense. But I mean, a lot of people do it as a hobby as well, and just because something is a hobby doesn't mean that you shouldn't use high quality tools, right? So I mean, like, I know that you need to have like lenses and these heavy, huge, expensive cameras and stuff like that and whatnot. Again, I don't know much about photography, but I do know a couple things. So all of that is, you can always tell, when a picture has been taken with an actual camera versus just like a mobile phone camera. There's a clear difference in quality. So if high quality is what you're after, then of course it makes sense to have equipment, even if you're not doing it professionally. But even if it's just as a hobby, it makes sense to invest in good equipment. Of course, I mean, you might even say, oh, well, some phones have really, really good cameras, in fact. And so that can, of course, also be equipment. It doesn't necessarily have to be a separate, camera, analog or whatever camera. I don't know much about cameras, but it doesn't have to be one of those expensive and really big and really heavy things. But yeah, I mean, if of course, if you're like a professional photographer, videographer, etc., there's no way that you can just, wing it using like a cell phone camera. Then it becomes really important. So its importance depends on use, right? Okay, so that was our test for today. We have, by the way, a lot of videos for writing and speaking, so don't forget to check those out. You can check out all of our playlists, and of course, we'll keep adding new videos, so don't forget to check back. In fact, you can just click on the subscribe button if you haven't already, and in case you have any comments or anything, just drop a comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see on this channel. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.